Alright, we're doing lesson number 7, which is adding and subtracting real numbers with different signs. It wasn't but a couple lessons ago when we added numbers together that had same signs. Let's do a quick review of same sign rules, and then we'll do different sign rules. So if I were to write a couple examples down, if I had 6 plus 5 or negative 6 plus a negative 5, notice that the signs in these cases are both the same. This is positive and positive, and this is negative and negative. And when the signs are the same, and we went through this earlier, so this shouldn't be anything new. When the signs are the same, you simply add them together. So 6 and 5 is 11, and you keep their sign in the answer. So that'll be positive 11. This one's 11 as well, and you keep the negative in your answer. Now, what happens when the signs are different? Well, when the signs are the same, we added. So maybe you can put 2 and 2 together and say, hey, you know what, the signs are the same and we add, then if the signs are different, then we're probably going to subtract. And that's the case. So we're going to go ahead and put that together. So let's make the signs different. So this is positive and this is negative. We'll subtract the numbers. So the difference between 6 and 5 is 1. And then here's the other rule. This is where you have to kind of be careful. You want to keep the sign of the larger number. So if you just look at 6 and just look at 5, just normally, we know that 6 is bigger than 5. So then you keep the sign of that larger number. Since 6 is bigger than 5, we'll keep the sign of that 6, and it's positive. Now you don't have to write the positive there, but you can. Let's say they're flipped around. Let's make the 6 negative and the 5 positive. Again, they're different, so they're different here. And they're still different. So we subtract them. 6 minus 5 is 1. And you keep the sign of the larger number. 6 was bigger here, and 6 is still bigger here. I know it's negative, and you want to say, well, it's negative 6 is smaller than 5, but just ignoring the signs, what's bigger, 6 or 5? 6 is bigger. So if 6 is bigger, you keep its sign in your answer. So that'll be negative right there. Let's do a couple more. Let's do negative 5 plus 3 minus 2. Let's see what happens here. So we'll go on, work from left to right. So we're going to go right here. The signs, negative, positive, are different. So we subtract them. 5 minus 3 is 2. We keep the sign of the larger number. So just 5 and 3. Just think 5 and 3. Which one's bigger? 5. And so you keep the sign of the 5. Well, the 5 is negative. So you bring it down. Bring down everything else. So bring down that negative 2. This is negative and this is positive. I'm sorry, and this is negative and this is negative. So they're both the same. And now we have to switch over and use the same sign rule. Same sign rule says we add them together. So then we add them. That's 4, and you keep their sign in the answer. One way you can think about this is when you're adding and subtracting numbers, in every case you keep the sign of the larger number. In every case. We just look at these 4 or 5 examples that we have right here. 6 is positive, we kept it. 6 is bigger than 5, we kept the negative. 6 is bigger than 5, we kept the positive. 6 is bigger than 5, we kept the negative. So every time you do these, you keep the sign of that larger number. Whatever it is, you keep the sign of that larger number. We'll do a couple more. Let's do negative 8 plus 5 plus, let's go 10. Let's see what happens here. So let's do the first two. Signs are different, so we subtract. Keep the sign of the larger number. 8's bigger than 5, so we'll keep the negative. Bring down the 10. Signs are different. One's negative, one's positive. Subtract them is 7. 10's bigger than the 3, so we keep the positive. Let's do another one. Negative 2 minus 4 plus 8. Signs are the same. Add the numbers. Keep the sign of the larger number. 4 is bigger than 2. Bring down the 8. Different. Subtract. 6 minus 2 is 2. Or 6 minus 8 is 2. 8's bigger than 6, so we keep the positive. Let's do one more. Let's go negative 5 plus 6 minus 4 plus 10. Signs are different. Subtract, that's 1. Keep 6 is bigger than 5, so you keep the positive. Bring down the 4 and the 10. Different again. Subtract is 3. 4 is bigger than 1, so you keep the minus. Bring down the 10. Different again. Subtract, 7. 10 is bigger than 3, you keep the positive. There they are. That should help you work through several of the questions on lesson number 7. I would like to do 15, 23, and 29 out of your homework with you, or do problems that are similar in nature to those. So here's 15. 15 is going to be, let's take 3b minus 10, and let's say b is equal to 6. So first thing we do is substitute. So we take the 6, plug it in. Now remember, you have to use parentheses when you do that. And it's really important that we do that. Okay, now we have to remember that we have multiplication and we have subtraction. We do multiplication first. So that'll give us 18. I made a mistake there. Signs are different. Subtract. Keep the sign of the larger number. 18's bigger. So we keep the sign of the larger number. Here's a number similar to number 23. Let's go 10 minus 5 minus a negative 6. 10 minus 5, they're different, so you subtract. 10's bigger than 5, so we'll keep the positive in the answer. Remember, two negatives make a positive, so you can put those together. And 6 plus 5 is 11. I'd like to look at number 29 with you a little bit. 29 is a little different than some of the ones we've been working with. It asks you in 29 to convert or rewrite this number that'll be in decimals, so I'll do like 2.5, and write that as a fraction. And there are some, I guess the best way of describing this, there are some sight decimals or some sight fractions that you need to know by heart. It's kind of like when you were learning how to read and the word the showed up. We call those sight words. You got to be able to just instantly recognize those. And I'm going to put down about 4 or 5 different fractions and their decimals, and you need to be able to commit them to memory. And as soon as you commit them to memory, it'll make these sort of problems very, very easy. Anytime you see 0.5, that means 1/2. Anytime you see 0.25, that's 1/4. Anytime you see 0.75, that's 3/4. 2 more. Anytime you see 0.3 repeating, so 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, the bar above it means it repeats. That's 1/3. And anytime you see 0.6 repeating, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, the bar on top means it's repeating. That's 2/3. So if you see 2.5, well, 0.5 means 1/2. So you just put the half with it. So that would be 2 and 1/2. Let's try a couple others. Let's say a negative 3.75. Well, 0.75 is 3/4. So it's 3 and 3/4. Just bring down the negative with it. Let's try another one. Let's do 10.6 repeating. 0.6 is 2/3, so that's 10 and 2/3. And there it is. Good luck on lesson number 7.